Alright, hey guys, and welcome to my new and improved room tour video. Some of you might be confused, that's why I'm filming this so soon after my last one. The reason for that is I only had half my figures on display last time. I now have all of them on display. Similarly with my manga, I was missing a few series here and there, but I now have all of my manga on display as well. There's also some new posters and little things like that that I've done, so things are actually quite a bit different from last time. Also, my last room tour video was relatively long, and I just want to warn you guys that this one is likely going to be even longer than that. And the camera work is likely going to be kind of shaky, as you've probably already seen. I'm holding my phone with like my hands, I don't have a tripod or anything, so things are probably going to get shaky here and there. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say, so let's get started. The first thing you will see, like last time, is my meal wall scroll. This was done for the fifth anniversary, rather, of K-On! I wanted to get Mugi as well, but I didn't really have room for both of them, so I just got Mio, because she is my favorite character, so I had to at least get her. And then I think we'll start with my Blu-rays next, because it is primarily what my channel focuses on, so I feel that's what most of you are here for. Apologies for the glare from my window. So I'm just going to scroll to the right and you guys can see what are on my shelves, because to read every single title off would be quite a feat. This is actually Katanagatari here. I don't know why, but for whatever reason NAS decided not to put the title of the show on those sets. And this here is Yuki Una as a hero. I finished collecting that and I will watch it sometime soon. I'm looking forward to it, because I heard it was pretty similar to Madoka Magica. And here is Little Witch Academia, a nice little 25-minute short done by Studio Trigger. Really, really good. I'd recommend you checking that out if you haven't. They made a sequel to it as well, but I can't say if that's any good because I have not watched it myself. Then here we go onto the second shelf. Favorite thing on this shelf would probably be all my Fate. I still haven't watched Fate Stay Night, but I think I'm going to play the visual novel before I watch it. But I really have to find the motivation to do that, because the visual novel is over like 50 hours long, I think. And right beside it is Fate Zero. I'm surprised I didn't talk about this in my last room tour, because it's actually one of my favorites. If you haven't watched it yet, I'd highly recommend checking it out. It is a great series. I actually need to rewatch it sometime soon, because I understood almost everything, but there were a few things here and there that I didn't fully understand. It was my introduction into the Fate universe, and it does do a pretty good job of introducing you to the universe and like all the laws and rules of it. But I think a rewatch is in order. I'll probably watch Fate Stay Night before I do that, though. And then over here is Gargantua on the Virtuous Planet. Another pretty good series that I initially watched because of Gen Urobuchi's involvement. I later found out that he only wrote the first and last episodes, I believe, but it's still a pretty good series. And they came in these beautiful Japanese Blu-ray box sets. Unfortunately, the American release doesn't look like this, but just really, really nice box sets that the art wraps all the way around. And these are definitely some of my favorite box sets in my collection. They're just so sturdy and just really nice quality overall. I'll show you one of my Fate box sets rather, as well. These are from Japan too, and they're very nice. There's a nice little piece of art on the back of them. You guys saw the spine, and there's the front. Once again, really, really nice quality. Japanese Blu-ray box sets are just really nice, and I like to import them when I can. Okay, and then we move on to the third shelf. And here is a Nagi no Asakara, or A Lull in the Sea. There is some spoilers on this box set, so I'm going to pull it out, but I just wanted to give you guys a fair warning if you haven't watched it already. So, just really, really nice. This box set came with the 6th volume of the Japanese Blu-ray release. And I just had to import it just because I liked it so much. And I put the American release in there. Yeah, the series itself is really good. I'd recommend checking it out if you haven't. It has one of the best openings in anime, in my opinion. Really, really nice second opening in that series. Chunibyo, actually probably one of my favorite KyoAni series. There's a style of humor in it that's apparent from the very first episode that I just love, and it just continues throughout the entire series. I'd recommend once again checking this out if you haven't. It's a really fun show. Here we have Madoka Magica, which I have displayed a little differently from the rest of my sets. One of my favorite anime. I need to rewatch it soon because I want to watch Rebellion, but I'd like to kind of refresh my memory first of the TV series. All right, and let's move on to the fourth shelf. Here we have my Durarara box set. This is from Japan as well. And again, just a beautiful set. It has art that wraps all around it once again. The Japanese like to do that with their sets, have wraparound art on. A lot of them have wraparound art, which I have no complaints over. They all look great. Over here is a Pet Girl of Sakuraso. I'm still not to say that last word. This came with the first volume of the Japanese Blu-ray release, and I imported it so I could put the Sentai Filmworks release in there. And it looks good. I really like box sets, so those are the kind of lengths I go to. And then over here is all of my Monogatari. Once again, displayed a little bit differently. I decided to put the Hidigi End arc in the front because that's probably my favorite box art out of all the sets that Aniplex has released so far. This is actually another one of my favorites. It just has this uniqueness to it that I don't experience with any other anime, but at the same time it can be really generic. There's a lot of tasteless fan service in it and things of that nature. But when it does hit those unique points, it really shines, and it's skyrocketed into one of my favorites. Really, really great series in my opinion. Garden of Sinners, a really good movie series done by the same studio that did Fate Stay Night. So it has that really nice animation that if you've watched Fate Stay Night, you'll be aware of. Highly recommend checking it out. It is really good. And down here, apologies for the awkward camera work here. My bed's so close to my shelves that I'm kind of squished in between them, and I have to adjust the camera so that you can see the shelves properly, so it's awkward to say the least. Here we have Kill la Kill. Same creators as Gurren Lagann, so it gets compared to Gurren Lagann quite a bit. I prefer Gurren Lagann to Kill la Kill, but that's not to say that it's bad. I firmly believe that Kill la Kill has one of the best first episodes in anime, and the last 6 episodes are easily the best of the series. Really, really great content there. So if you haven't checked it out already, I'd recommend trying the first 3 episodes, see if it's for you. And then here is my Haruhi Suzumiya box set. Another one of my favorite anime. I really wish there was more, but unfortunately that's not likely going to happen. I'm going to have to finish the series through the light novels, which is also doesn't have any end in sight. It's been a long time since the last volume got released. The author did mention that he's going to finish the series at some point, but no one seems to know when that's going to happen. But yeah, another really fun series that I really wish there was more of. But what we got was good, especially the movie. The movie's phenomenal. And then here is Nisekoi. I'm just going to pull this out because I really like the covers of the Nisekoi volumes. They just look really good. As for the series itself, it's your standard shonen romance. There's very little progress, and when there is progress, it's almost completely forgotten by the next episode. But what makes Nisekoi stand above all the other shonen romances for me is Shaft's animation style. The way they animated some of the manga panels I really liked. It just felt like they had fun with it and didn't restrict themselves in the way they animated Nisekoi. So it's a really fun series. Here's Panties Talking with Garter Belt, which I actually hardly talk about, but and I don't really know why because I really like the series. It's one of the people who formed Trigger. It's one of the last series they worked on before they left Gainax and formed Studio Trigger. and I can't even really place my finger on why I like it so much. It's just pure trashy toilet humor mixed with like Gynax action scenes and quirky characters and weird storylines. Like literally the first episode, they fight like a giant monster made of shit. Like it's just really off the wall, and it's pretty unique in that sense, I guess. I've never seen a series like it, so it's a fun series. I really like it. Over here is Ranma 1/2, which I have to finish collecting still. We'll do that sometime soon. All the volumes have been released, so I have to get on that. Alright, sorry for my fingers in front of the camera there. This shelf is a bit dark, so apologies in advance for that. Space Dandy I've heard pretty good things for. I want to actually watch that sometime soon. I have to pick up the second season. It got released recently. And then JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, another one of my... It's not quite in my top 10 favorites, but I really do like it. It's really good. And then over here is my Ghibli movies. This is, from left to right, is Kiki's Delivery Service, Porco Rosso. Oh, whoops, Porco Rosso. Nope. There we go, Porco Rosso. Whisper of the Heart, I believe this one is called. That is Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle. I want to try and collect all of them, but that's happening slowly, because they are pretty expensive. Alright, and that is the first bookcase. Try and give you like that's a really awkward top to bottom view. Alright, and let's move on to the second bookcase. These are like, we're getting into like all my standard sets now. Here is Clannad. It's actually my second favorite anime of all time. Really, really like it. I have to rewatch it sometime soon to see if it holds up to how I remember it. But one thing I can say for certain is it has one of my favorite soundtracks in anime. Some of the tracks in that series are just so good, and I love the soundtrack for that series a lot. Right here is, I can't remember the Japanese name, but the English name is The Eccentric Family. It's done by the same person as who did Tatami Galaxy and Ping Pong, and it's quite good. I'd recommend checking it out. It's only 12 episodes, I believe, so you could watch it in just like a couple sittings, or even one sitting if you really wanted to. From New World, another really good series. This is, most anime are adapted from light novels, but this one is actually adapted from a legit novel, and it's really good. I'd recommend checking that one out. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, another phenomenal series. And that is that shelf. It's Non Biyori. That is a really fun series. I really like Non Biyori. It just really warms your heart. It just essentially follows these four kids who live out in the country, and it's really accurate. I grew up in a small town, and I can relate to a lot of things that happen to the characters in this series. It's a really nice series to just sit down and relax and watch. If you just want to like mellow out and relax, Non Biyori is a great choice. Space Brothers is another really good series that I recommend you guys check out. It doesn't seem to get too much love, and if it does, its fans don't seem to be very vocal about it. At least, it's from the title. You can kind of assume what it's about. It focuses on space travel, and it's based off a manga, and the mangaka seems to really do a lot of research on the topics that the series covers. You actually learn quite a bit about what goes into the training of the astronauts and the technology involved and things like that. It's really fun and interesting series. First, over here we have Vampire Hunter D. This is a series I've heard a lot about. I was originally going to pick up the classic one that was done in 1980 something, I think it was. But I heard that wasn't the best, so I picked up the 2001 version instead. Yet to watch it, but looking forward to that. And over here we have Free, which is another... Pretty much I just only picked this up because it was done by KyoAni. I heard it's pretty good, actually, so I look forward to watching it. Alright, and then we'll move down, and here we have my One Piece figures. These figures are really nice. I got these four specifically because they are my four favorite Straw Hats. We have Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, and Frankie. The Frankie figure is really nice. It's probably my favorite out of the four, just in terms of quality. He comes with like all his weapons and a bunch of different hairstyles that he has throughout the manga, and a ton of different accessories. He has a lot of detail that went into him, and it really shows. One Piece is actually a really good shonen series that it's already pretty popular, so I don't feel like I have to talk too much about it. Everyone who is a fan of anime probably at least knows of it, but if you're kind of on the fence about checking it out, I'd recommend you do. It's really... I know it gets associated with Naruto and Bleach because it's part of like the big three, but I really do think that it is a level above those two others. Apologies if you're a fan of those. It's nothing against Naruto or Bleach. That's just my personal opinion on it. So yeah, let's move down here, and we have these are like my kind of big awkward sets that I kind of had to dedicate a whole shelf to them because it's just, I feel it's the best way to display them. So here's my Gurren Lagann Blu-ray box set. Probably the best box set in my collection. It's just gigantic, and it comes with so much extras. It comes with the entire series, the movies, all the what to call them. They're not necessarily OVAs, but the creators made a bunch of little animation shorts of the characters. It comes with all those, a soundtrack, art book. It's an amazing set. Over here is the Full Metal Alchemist Collector's Edition. Funimation released this recently. This is for the original series that aired in 2003. This isn't Brotherhood. Amazing set, too. It comes with like a 300-page art book, I believe, is how many pages is in it. The entire series, and a bunch of other little extra goodies. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to pick it up because I already had Brotherhood, but the set was so nice, and I wanted to check out the original series as well, so I decided to go for it. And I don't regret it. It's a really nice set. And over here is Gundam The Origin. The second one's getting released soon. I have to pick it up, but I can't really comment on this too much. I haven't watched it, but the set itself is unique to say the least. It's almost like a record, like, you know what the cases that records come in, except it's a lot thicker than that, but size wise that's about what I'd compare it to. And it's a pretty unique release. I have never seen a release like it before. Really nice art on it. So yeah, looking forward to watching that. I think I might want to check out the original Gundam first, because this is, from what I understand, a retelling of the original, so I don't know when I'm gonna watch it yet, if I want to watch the original Gundam first or not. We'll see. And then back here is Darker Than Black. This is the collector's edition for that Funimation released recently. It's alright. I would have preferred a box set personally, but that's just because I'm obsessed with box sets. It's not a bad release, but yeah. I'm going to check it out sometime soon. I still haven't watched it, but I will soon. See, these are the kind of collector's editions that I wish Funimation would release more often. This is, in my opinion, a nice collector's edition, whereas the Darker Than Black one is just alright. So, as you can see, it like replicates Edward's suitcase, and just really, really cool set. And then down here are my DVDs. Not a whole lot to comment on in terms of that. Silver Spoon I'm looking forward to checking out, just because it's the same creator as Full Metal Alchemist. Other than that, GTO is another one I really want to check out. I've heard great things about that. One thing I do actually want to talk about is this. This is the Steins Gate visual novel. I still haven't played it yet, but I love the anime. It's probably my favorite anime of all time. So I'm really looking forward to playing this when I do get around to it. It's also pretty long. I don't know how long it is exactly, but I don't think it's as long as Fate Stay Night is, but it's still pretty long. So I'm just kind of trying to find the motivation to play it. And then here we also have the Fullmetal Alchemist, what's it called again? Fullmetal Alchemist Final Best Soundtrack. This comes with all the openings and endings from the series, and it just comes in a really nice box, as you can see. Another really cool, this is actually the only soundtrack I actually really own. Please Teacher came with the soundtrack, but that was just kind of an extra. That's the only soundtrack I've actually ever like sought out and got myself. I really like the openings and endings, whoops, the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, so I thought that would be a cool addition to my collection. There we go. That was a bit awkward to do. Alright, now we're going to move on to the manga. Up here is... I'm not going to read off every single series, but I'll talk about a few of them here and there. 20th Century Boys is a series I really want to check out sometime soon. I've just heard nothing but praise for it, and it's supposed to be just phenomenal. I'm actually making my way through Monster right now, which is done by the same creator as 20th Century Boys, and I'm really loving Monster so far. It is great, so I can't wait to check out 20th Century Boys. Battle Royale is actually a pretty good series as well. Really, really violent and gory, but a good series nonetheless that I'd recommend checking out if you haven't. Blade of the Immortal right here. I still haven't read it, but I've heard very good things. I've owned it for a very long time, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. I need to do that soon. And then here is Berserk, one of my favorite manga of all time. Pretty much has a whole shelf dedicated to it. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal series that I feel belongs in almost any person's manga collection. It is that good in my opinion, and I'm really excited that it's back from hiatus. So, yeah, a great series. And that on the left is Chobits, a pretty good Clamp series. I need to check out more Clamp, but I just haven't gotten around to that yet. Down there is Food Wars, which I've actually heard great. There's people are loving the anime for it, which is pretty cool, and I've heard great things about the manga, so I have to get into that sometime soon. Then we have the Fullmetal Alchemist manga series. Probably one of my favorite covers actually here. I just feel that it encompasses a large part of what the series is about, and just all in one cover. It's great. Girlfriends is actually one of the... I think it's the only Yuri manga I own. I do believe it is, but I've heard really good... It's apparently like a mature Yuri, like it actually tries to encapsulate like what a lesbian relationship would be like in like real life, and all the, I guess, trials and tribulations that they would face as a result of being in a relationship with the same sex. So I've heard really good things about it, and I would like to read it sometime. I think that's a pattern you guys are noticing. There's a lot of things in my collection that I haven't read yet or watched. Alright, whoops. So that is that. Apologies for the glare once again. And this is probably what's changed the most in my room, is this wall over here. You have all my figures and another manga shelf there. So let's go check that out. Up here we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. These are called the Jojolian volumes, I think is what they're called. And right here is all of Phantom Blood. They're currently releasing Battle Tendency, which is the second arc of the manga. Just great to have the JoJo manga getting released here in North America, and I'm excited to pick more of it up. Lone Wolf and Cub, I've heard tons of great things about. Excited to read that sometime soon. Love at 14 is a really cute romance series that I'd recommend you guys checking out if you're just looking for a nice, cute little series to enjoy. It really delivers. What can I say? It delivers in terms of just warming your heart, and it's a nice series. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, another a series that I've heard great things about. So I'm gonna get there's one more volume that's gonna come out, and then I'm gonna read all of it at some point. Magi, love this cover, so I had to display it like that just because I like this cover so much. There's that shelf. And then here is Gundam The Origin manga series. I've got up to volume 10. 11 was released recently. And I think 12 is going to be the last volume. So I'm pretty close to owning all of it if that is the case. Just beautiful hardcover volumes that Vertical really just did a great job with these. They're so high quality, and the paper isn't like your standard manga paper. It's like photo paper. These are easily the highest quality manga volumes in my collection. Parasite is another awesome series I haven't finished. I'm going to finish it sometime soon, and then I'll check out the anime that was done by Madhouse after that. Pipochu is actually a pretty unique little series. It's done by a American mangaka, and it's pretty much focuses on this cover is probably, it makes you think it's about something that it's not, but it actually focuses on an otaku who pretty much your run-of-the-mill weeaboo who thinks Japan just revolves around anime and manga, and that's all that they have to offer, and everyone in Japan loves anime and manga. And then he goes there and finds out that is the farthest from the truth. And then on the flip side of it, there is a Japanese man in the series that is obsessed with American culture, and he thinks it's all about like cowboy hats and guns and killing people and stuff. So it's a really unique series that only 3 volumes long, as you can see, and it's a nice little series that you guys should check out if you're looking for something a little bit different. Prison School, another anime that aired pretty recently. Really over the top in terms of its fan service, and it's a weird one. I don't know how to perceive it, to be honest. It has it feels like a seinen series. That might be what it is. I don't know what it's categorized under, but as soon as I saw the art style, it screamed seinen to me. So when I started reading it, it felt so weird that it just started having all this over-the-top fan service and just weird situations. Because, like, when I think about seinen, I think of something like, let's see, like Parasite, for example. Like, that's usually the kind of thing I think about when I think about seinen. But Prison School, which again, I don't know if it's categorized as seinen, but the art style feels very seinen to me. So it's entertaining, though. It's really funny. It caught me off guard. And then One Punch Man, another anime that's airing right now, and people are loving it, which is pretty cool. Excuse me. The manga is really, really good. I've read up to the middle of volume 2-ish, somewhere around there. And it's really entertaining, a really fun take on the shonen genre, where I guess you could tell by the title where the main character pretty much just kills anyone in one punch. And he's trying to find an opponent that actually tests his strength, and it's really interesting. It's the exact opposite of most shonen, where the characters are training up to fight the villains, and they're just constantly training to try and get on the villain's level, whereas this guy is already miles above every villain he comes across. So it's pretty much the exact opposite, and it's really funny. A Silent Voice is a series I've heard really good things about, and recently a movie got announced for it that is going to be done by KyoAni, so I'm really excited for that. I'm probably going to read the manga first. I'll probably have read the manga by the time the movie comes out. The movie's probably a couple years away yet, but it's just the premise of it I really find really interesting. It's essentially just about someone who bullies this girl who has hearing problems, and as it goes on, he, from what I understand, just starts to sympathize with her, and he slowly becomes nicer to her, and that's pretty much how the whole series plays out. It's pretty short; it's only like 7 volumes long, so that's just a premise that really speaks to me, and I really am interested in reading it. So I'm gonna collect a few more volumes because I feel like I'm just gonna blast through it, and then I'm gonna want more. So I want to collect more volumes before I start reading it. Plus, I'm making my way through Monster anyway, so I have a distraction in the meantime. Vagabond, I haven't started yet, but I've heard really great things about that too. The art style, I've actually checked out a few pages, and the art style is really good. The art in this series is phenomenal. Just some of the best art I've seen in manga easily. And then down here is Vinland Saga, a phenomenal series about Vikings, and yeah, just not much else. It's about Vikings. Again, it's just one of those things I've never really seen in manga before, and the way it's written is really well done. Like the characters are great, the character development is really good, the story is interesting, the setting is interesting. It's a great series that I recommend you guys check out. Wandering Sun is another really interesting series. I don't know if I want to pull it out. My Spice and Wolf volumes might fall. I'm gonna keep it there for now. I'm gonna keep it there just in case my Spice and Wolf falls. That is another really cool series that it's kind of like a Silent Voice where it kind of and Girlfriends where it tackles kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like a, I was gonna say controversial topic, but that's not really the case for Silent Voice. So I guess more like Girlfriends where it kind of tackles a controversial topic, and that is where two kids who are in 5th grade, I believe, are confused about their genders, and they one wants to be, well, not confused, more like uncomfortable with their genders. They're not happy with the gender they are. One wants to be a girl, and the other one wants to be a boy. So just a really interesting premise that really intrigued me from the start, and it's going out of print, so I gotta try and pick these up quick. Volume 1's already out of print. The only reason I was able to get it is because I found it in a bookstore. Apologies, I hit the max recording record length on my phone. As I was saying, I found this at a local bookstore, luckily, so I got lucky with that. And then we move on to my the Naruto. I've actually had these volumes for a really long time. It was like, what was it called? It was called like the Shadow Box it came in, and I got it when I was like 13 or something. So that's pretty much the only reason I have these. I actually do enjoy the first part of Naruto a decent amount. I think the fights are really interesting because this was before everyone became super powerful. So the fights were a lot more creative. Characters had to work around their weaknesses to defeat their opponents, and they didn't just completely rely on their chakra all the time. So actually, I do enjoy the first part of Naruto quite a bit. And then over here, that is it for the manga. These are a couple of my art books. The Clannad, what is this, the 20th anniversary art book, I think it is. A beautiful art book. It just showcases art from the visual novel, the anime, and the movie. And it's just really nice. It's hardcover and everything. I had to get it because Clannad is one of my favorites. And similarly with Steins Gate, I had to get it because it's one of my favorite anime. This only showcases art from the visual novel, unfortunately, but it's still a really nice art book. And then down here, sorry for how dark it is. That first one is Heroes and Heroines, and that basically showcases character designs and art styles from the last like decade, Really interesting little book. It showcases art from like Kill la Kill, Attack on Titan, and a bunch of the hits from the last decade. And then we have this little Tokyo Ghoul art book, which I pretty much just got because I had some points on a website, and I was like, oh, screw it, I'll just pick this up. It's actually pretty nice. The art in Tokyo Ghoul is... The manga art is nice. It's really nice and clean, but the cover art, I really like the cover art of Tokyo Ghoul, and pretty much all the art in that book is in the style of what the cover art is in. So there's a lot of nice pieces in that book. Alright, and that's it for the manga. So before we move on to the figures, let's show you some of the posters I have hanging up all around. I'm just trying to figure out where I should start. I guess I'll start with these One Piece panel reproductions. Again, this is probably one of my favorite moments in One Piece. For those of you who have read the manga, you'll know why Luffy is crying. And one other detail I actually noticed pretty recently that I just want to point out is I love the way Oda drew Usopp in this panel. He just has this big shit-eating grin on his face, pointing at himself like, yeah, I'm the best. So I don't even know why Oda decided to draw him like that, but I love it. And then here, well, actually, I guess I might as well show Mega Man since we're here. But I'll move him. And I still haven't gotten this far in the manga yet. This is at the end of the Fishman Island arc, I believe. But that looks pretty cool. I love how it has a full shot of the entire crew ready to throw down with whoever the main villain of that arc is. And then over here, once again, I haven't gotten this far, but I got spoiled for this character's appearance. So I was like, whatever, I'll just get this panel. But it is a, what's his name again? I've forgotten. Oh, I've totally forgotten his name. But he's just kicking marine ass, as you can see. I'm really bad with names. And then over here, we have my Madoka canvases. It has the 5 main girls on it, as you can see. And I think the way they were meant to be displayed is Madoka on the far right, and then Mommy on the far left. Because they kind of connect, as you can see. You see where they connect there? But I was like, no, I don't want that. Madoka is the main character, so she has to be in the center. But it still looks good regardless, so I'm happy with it. And then over here, I actually went to my first con recently, and I'll block that, whoops, with my hand. I went to a con recently, and I picked up these posters. The first one there is Hunter x Hunter, one of my favorite anime actually. It's in my top 10 too, and I'm so happy that Viz licensed it. I'm going to pick up those Blu-rays as soon as they're available because I love Hunter x Hunter. And then we have a Cowboy Bebop one. Apologies for my window. Another really nice art print. I haven't actually finished Cowboy Bebop yet. I still have to get around to doing that. And then another really nice Fullmetal Alchemist one that has Edward and Al on it. And then up here, we have the Phantom Troop. Had to pick that one up because York New City is probably my second favorite arc in the anime aside from Chimera Ant. And then we have, I don't even know what to call this, Mako in her 3-star Goku uniform. I just love the art style of this, so I picked it up because of that. Then we have this JoJo poster. This is for the 3rd arc. Really, really nice. It just has all the characters on it, and then Dio up there at the far right, top right corner. And then it just has JoJo written in that cool red letter. I don't know what to call it, like a font. Yeah, in that cool font style with the red letters. It just looks great. So, and then you have this really cool One Piece poster. Again, I just really like the art style of it, and it showcases 3 really cool characters from the series, so I had to pick that one up as well. And then Haikyuu, which I haven't even watched yet, but again, I just really like the poster. I thought it looked really nice, so I grabbed it. And then over here, which the glare is kind of making it hard to see. But that is another really nice art print that I have framed that I got from Tokyo Otaku Mode, which is a cool website that you can pick up a lot of different anime-related merch from. And then that is another one I got, which I have to block the sun once again. And up here are my Nisekoi posters, which look great together. I was trying to figure out what to hang on top of this bookcase. I couldn't find anything that would fit properly, and then it finally clicked that I could use these for posters, and they're not perfectly centered, unfortunately, but they still look really good together. And then this one over here, which is probably my favorite, one of my favorites at least. I just really like it. It just looks really nice. And over here we have my Gurren Lagann posters. Up top we have Kamina, Simon, and Yoko. These are done by an artist called Omo Cat. Really great posters. She has a lot of different ones like One Piece and Evangelion and stuff. Unfortunately, they don't seem to be for sale on our website anymore, so I'm glad I grabbed these when I did. The camera doesn't seem to be focusing. Apologies for that. But it has some quotes from the characters, and just really cool overall. And then over here, we have this Miku poster, which I really liked. I'm actually, to be honest, not a huge fan of Miku. I think her music is alright, but it just has a really distinct sound to it that I'm not a huge fan of. But I don't hate her or anything, but I really like this poster, so I had to pick it up. And then similarly with this one, I just really liked it, so I grabbed it. Really nice. The style that the artist drew in is really nice, and I liked it a lot. And then down here is my only non-anime related poster. This is a poster of the video game franchise Animal Crossing. Really nice. Animal Crossing is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. So as soon as I saw this, I had to grab it. It is also done by Omo Cat. So once again, I'm glad I picked it up before it was taken off her website. And I believe that's all the art on my walls. So let's move on to the figures. Let me just open this up to avoid as much glare as possible. So, first up we have Ultimate Madoka, and then we have Mommy behind her and Homura beside her. Ultimate Madoka is probably one of my favorite figures, really nice figure. And then down here we have Dizzy, who is from, what's it called? She's from a fighting game, but I forget what the game's called. Again, I only got her because of her design. I really like the way the figure itself looked. Similarly with this one, I can't remember her name even. She's from the anime Dead Alive though. And again, I just really liked her character design as well as the way the figure looked, so I grabbed her. And down here, we have Makase from Steins Gate, Karen from the Monogatari series, and then we have, I think her name is, I can't remember. Again, just really like the design of it. That's a pattern with a lot of my figures. I just like the way they look. And which I feel is fine because figures are mainly for displaying and looking at, so yeah. And down here, again, I don't know her name. I just like the design. And then we have Tenchi, I believe her name is, from Angel Beats. I love the wings on that figure. That's the main reason I picked that one up. And then over here we have Menma from Anohana. It's actually my only swimsuit or bikini figure, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I don't know why, I just like the design of that figure more than, there's another one that was done by Alter, and I didn't like that one as much as the one I own, so I decided to pick the bikini one up over Alter's one. Here we have Insane Black Rock Shooter, another one of my favorites. Just a really dynamic and just overall beautiful figure. I really like the design of the Black Rock Shooter characters. Her face is kind of low, so I'm just going to Yeah, that's a bit better. I really like the design of the Blackrock shooter characters. The whole premise for them came from one of a Hatsune Miku video, actually, I believe. It was either a video or a fan art, one of the two. And the designs are just great. I really like them a lot. And then we have, what's their names? Black Gold Saw and I can't remember the one with the Scythe name, but two other beautiful figures that the only one I'm missing is Strength. So I'm going to try to get her at some point, but these are the three I have now, and I'm quite happy with them. They look great together. And then down here, we have Bounty Hunter Yoko. Really nice figure, really great quality. And right next to her we have the HNO2 mix, Hatsune Miku, I believe it's called. The color scheme is what drew me to this figure originally, and I just feel it looks really great. Once again, just not a huge fan of Miku. I don't hate her, but the design of this figure was just too... I liked it too much to pass up. And then down here, we have my two Saber figures. Two really nice figures. I like the one with the... I think that's Saber Alter in the back, I think is who that is. I just really liked her red jacket. And her sword is actually pretty cool too. And then this one I got for the dynamic pose. Looks really good. Alright. So that is those two. And we'll move on to these two over here. Let me open these up real quick.